China's development and international status have always attracted much attention. A while ago, the United States raised the issue of removing China from the ranks of developing countries, which aroused extensive discussions and speculations. China's great strength is undeniable. China has the status of the world's second largest economy, as well as a powerful military. These achievements have made some countries start to feel uncomfortable and question whether China should continue to be regarded as a developing country. However, despite its sheer size, China is still a developing country. It has always participated in international affairs as a developing country. This status gives China international help and support, as well as trade benefits. According to the rules, developing countries can enjoy various preferential terms from the international community, which is conducive to China's development. However, the United States hopes to deprive China of these preferential conditions and contain China's further development. Therefore, excluding China from developing countries is not a recognition of China's strength, but a purpose of containment. How far is China from becoming a developed country? There are 37 developed countries identified by the United Nations at present, and these countries have relatively high levels in terms of economy and per capita GDP. According to the fact that per capita GDP is an important indicator to measure whether a country is developed, we can see that among the 37 developed countries, there are great differences in the level of per capita GDP. Take Luxembourg as an example. Its per capita GDP is as high as $127,000, while the per capita GDP of the United States and Japan are $76,000 and $33,000 respectively. In comparison, China's current GDP per capita is $12,000, ranking it 63rd in the world. So, how big is the gap between China and the standard of becoming a developed country? We can find out by analyzing the countries with the lowest per capita GDP among the developed countries identified by the United Nations. Poland's per capita GDP is only $18,000, while Greece's is $20,000. In other words, if China reaches this level, it is very likely to be identified as a developed country. According to data inquiries, China's per capita GDP in 2022 will be approximately $12,800. If calculated at an annual growth rate of 5%, it is estimated that by 2029, China's per capita GDP will reach $18,000, and by 2032 it may exceed $20,000. It can be seen that China's development speed is not exaggerated. Taking the United States as an example, it took 8 years to go from $12,000 to $20,000. South Korea also took 12 years. So it's not super fast for China to get to that level. However, although China is expected to meet this standard in the near future, whether it can be successfully identified as a developed country is still unknown. Considering whether the standards for the identification of developed countries will change, as well as the impact of other factors, there are still certain uncertainties about whether China can be successfully identified as a developed country. Becoming a developed country is not only a matter of per capita GDP, but also involves many other indicators and factors. For example, developed countries usually have higher levels of education, healthcare, social welfare, and environmental protection. Therefore, simply pursuing the growth of per capita GDP cannot fully reflect whether a country has reached the standard of a developed country. In addition, the identification standards of developed countries may be adjusted with the changes of the times. With the evolution of the global economic landscape and the advancement of technology, the standards of developed countries are also gradually evolving. Therefore, for China to be recognized as a developed country, in addition to economic strength, it needs to make more efforts in other aspects.